and welcome to another episode of Toya Talks Wrestling. Today's episode, we're going to talk about Raw, March 31st, 2025, the last Raw of March. And we're on our way to WrestleMania, which this Raw was a great road to WrestleMania. Great road. But before we get into new business, I need to handle some old business. So I forgot to mention last week on my SmackDown video that we will have a debut premiere of Rey Fenix. It's announced that this Friday coming up he will be at SmackDown. I had mentioned him before. He is the brother of Penta. He used to work for AEW, but they released him, and now he's working for WWE. Maybe they might be putting him in. Maybe the reason why they are debuting him now, because maybe they might put him in WrestleMania. I don't know. I would assume that they would have done it after WrestleMania, but if they want to debut him like this Friday, I'm all for it. If he's anything like his brother, we shall see. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put them together, but maybe they have different plans. Maybe they see what happens. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to seeing the premiere for Rey Fenix for sure. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Raw. So, as always, it starts off with John Cena. And the crowds are really shouting, "Let's go Cena, Cena suck," before John even music played or even got out there. But his music played, and of course they're saying, "John Cena sucks, John Cena sucks." And you know he has this flag. It's a little towel flag thing, right? He's like putting it behind his back and he's walking towards the ring. Then grabs the mic. And as he grabs the mic, then you hear Cody Rhodes' music starts. And the crowd goes wild, and the crowd singing a song and everything else. And Cody gets into the ring, and they sing, "Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody, Cody Rhodes." how like he might be like, because I think John Cena calls him like a corporate creation and stuff like that. And he's like, well, why am I the corporate? And Cody Rhodes like, I'm not the corporate creation, you know. He's like, I may be the chosen one, but the audience chose me, unlike you, who was chosen by one man who no longer works here anymore. Yeah, I wonder who he's talking about. Anyways, they went back and forth and everything else like that. Right, and he like he basically called John Cena a piece of shit, and John Cena said, you know, there you go, using like profanities and like saying I'm feces or something like that, but the only thing that's feces is you and this audience. And they went back and forth. It ended up with like, you know, I think Cody Rhodes was like, because John Cena was getting, not John Cena, but Cody Rhodes was getting like the Cody Rhodes chants and everything else, and John Cena mentioned something about that, and then he's like, yeah, maybe. Cody was like, yeah, maybe, but you know the one thing that I've never been chanted at as John Cena was leaving the ring, it was, you can't wrestle. I remember those chants. Right, he looked, right, and the crowd was kind of saying you can't wrestle, but it's like, it just sounded weird. It sounded like let's go Cena, and Cena sucks, and you can't wrestle all at the same time, so it's kind of like, it didn't sound too good. But you know, John Cena ends up about to attack Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes puts him in the crossroads, and that was pretty much it. I totally screwed up that whole thing, but as far as I know, that is the last time we're going to see John Cena until WrestleMania, which is in like 18 days from today, I think. I'm pretty sure that we'll probably see him again, maybe on another Raw or another SmackDown, like before, or something like that. You attack Cody or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if that Crossroads was like a payback for John Cena kicking him in the balls, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm looking forward to this match. I'm just looking forward to WrestleMania. I just wish it would get here already. My goodness, it's taking forever. Anyways, so that was it. And then Cody Rhodes leaves, and I think John Cena lied there, and then the segment ended. Anyways, let's move on. We had some tag team action. The New Day faced off the New Catch Republic. Yes, that's right. Tyler Bates is back. I think I look at a haircut, looking good. Adam Pearce was like, you know, you want to earn your title, earn a title shot, and everything else. Here you go. So New Day ends up winning, and they get interviewed right after the match. They get interviewed and said, you know, congratulations, and you said you guys wanted a title shot and everything else. How do you feel and all that stuff? And he's like, we deserve a title shot. We've been out here working and everything else. Blah 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 blah. So then the War Raiders come out, and they pretty much face to face with the New Day. So I don't know what this means. Like, I don't know they have a match. Well, no, I don't think so, because I think they would have mentioned they had a match next week. I don't know if it's going to go on to like WrestleMania or after Mania or what. Not really sure, but you can tell that New Day versus the War Raiders is going to happen, and more than likely I can see New Day winning those titles off of the War Raiders at some point. Don't know when. Anyways, let's move on. So Jimmy Uso was in the back, taping up his wrist and stuff, getting ready to have a fight with Gunther. And Jay comes in, and Jay's like, hey man, what's up, and everything else like that. And Jay was telling, you know, Jimmy, you know, I know you're gonna take care of business, but I wish you would just let me be out there with you. And he's like, yeah, I know, dude, but like, I need to show you that Gunther is just a man, a beatable man, a man that can be beat, right? He ain't no different than you or no different than me. Yeah, he big, you're big, I'm big. It doesn't matter, right? Don't worry, I'm gonna handle business and stuff like that, right? And he's like, yeet. And he's like, alright, and Jay's like, yeet. Gave him a hug, and Jay's like, but yo, seriously, just be careful out there, right? And so they had their match. At one point, Gunther had Jimmy won, but he pinned him, and then when they got to the 2, he lifted him back up, right? He beats him up some more, and he pins him, and he got to a 2, and he lifts him back up again, and then he beats him up some more, and then eventually he finally puts him in the sleeper hold, and I think Jimmy tapped out, or maybe he went out or something like that. I can't recall. And Gunther wins, and he poses and everything else, and then he puts him back into the sleeper hold, where here comes Jay, and Jay comes in, and basically Gunther runs away into the crowd. And then they went to commercial, came back from the commercial, and they had Jay helping Jimmy to the ramp and everything else, and that's when Gunther comes in and basically attacks Jay from behind. And then he got Jay, and he put him got it zip tied to the ring. So now Jay is helpless, and like I said last week, Jimmy Uso has to get his ass beat by Gunther, and my god, that's exactly what happened. I mean, we got color. Yeah, pretty much Gunther just beat the living crap out of him. So there was no end and everything else, and Jake was helpless. He couldn't do shit, right? He couldn't do nothing at all because he was zip tied to the ropes. So, right? And then, Gunther was like, look at your brother, and everything else like that. And, Jay is crying and everything else, and Jimmy is, bleeding all over the place. Bleeding so much that he bled all over Gunther. He finally stopped Gunther. I mean, there was at one point in time, there was a little bit of security, but I don't know what happened to the security. It was a couple of people, and then no one else showed up. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, London, great security there. Anyway, so it's Gunther ends up standing in the middle of the ring with a title in the hand with Jimmy's blood all over his body. It was freaking fantastic. It's exactly what we needed to see going forward with this feud that we're gonna have, for this match that we're gonna have at WrestleMania. Now I need him to beat up his dad or something. You know what I'm saying? I need him to beat up his dad, just to make it a little bit more just. We've had Jay fight for his brother before and protect his brother before and everything else like that. But if you add his father in there, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. We need to add Rikishi in this mix. And he always talks about how he wants to help his son, want the best for his son anyway. So he should be happily to volunteer his services to get his ass beat for his son to make him look good. Anyways, let's move on. So we had Judgment Day backstage. We had basically Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. They were talking and everything else like that. And Liv Morgan comes in. He goes, "Oh, look, I'm glad to see you guys on the same page. Looks like everything is going great." And he's like, Finn Balor's like, "Yeah, well, sometimes brothers fight, but we always make up and everything's back to normal and love again, right?" Because now that we got this whole situation of not adding another person out of the way and everything else like that, because that whole thing didn't work, now we can go ahead and focus on Penta and Braun Breaker, especially the IC title and everything else like that. And he's excited and everything else. He seems to be in a great mood and all this other stuff. And it was you guys are gonna do great, right? Because they had a tag match with they had a tag match between Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio versus Penta and Braun Breaker. And anyways, Finn Balor is told up to Raquel and says, "Look, I understand you didn't win your match for the IC title, but don't worry, I'll bring an IC title to the Judgment Day." And Raquel's like, "I'm pretty sure you will, right?" So then they go and they have their match. And it ended up with Finn pinning Penta because Braun Breaker accidentally or inadvertently speared Penta instead of Finn. or was it Dominic? I can't remember. One of them got out the way. Dominic Mysterio pretty much took care of Bron Breakker on the outside. Then Balor did the coup de grace and got the pin over Penta and Bron Breakker. So then later on, you had Penta go up to Bron Breakker, basically calling him like stupid for spearing him and stuff like that. And Bron Breakker's like, yo, it was an accident and everything else. And Penta's still calling him stupid, whatever. And then later on, you had Finn Balor. He's happy. He's like, yeah, you know what? I got the pin over Penta and everything else. I think I'm on a roll, right? I'm doing great and everything else. I beat both Penta and Bron Breakker. I think I'm gonna go to Adam Pearce and talk about getting a rematch. He's like, WrestleMania season's coming. I like a rematch for that IC title. So then he goes and leaves, and Liv Morgan's looking like disgusted. Like, wait a minute, like, you were there too, Dom. You have just as much credit as he does. Like, he doesn't want to give you any credit, right? He said, I beat them, not we beat them, right? And Dom's like, I'm pretty sure he meant we, and stuff like that. You know, Dominic Mysterio being like naive or whatever. And she's like, well, you deserve to be an IC, go for the IC title as well. She's like, I'm going to go ahead and talk to Adam Pearce right after Finn does. Don't worry, I got you, right? And Dominic Mysterio is like looking all confused. I'm like, what was that? I'm talking to like Carlito, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh my god, y'all stupid. So like I had said before last week that I could see, and that's probably what's going to happen. You're gonna have a fatal 4-way between Bron Breakker defending his title against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. And I can see Penta being the winner of that match, where he doesn't have to really pin Bron Breakker, so Bron Breakker won't look weak, but he can pin either Finn or Dominic Mysterio, which I don't have a problem with that. I think it's going to be a great match. I can't wait to see it. Anyways, let's move on to the next segment. Lyra Valkyria had an interview. They're asking her like Bayley pretty much saved her last week, and she's very grateful for Bayley, but she also is like kind of like upset with herself because Bayley was the only person who had beaten her. They had to do the qualification match for the Elimination Chamber, I believe. So next week we will have a title match between Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley for the IC title. I think this is gonna end up in disqualification because I think this is probably gonna be interrupted by the Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Raquel. I'm thinking because they were talking about them before, so in that same night, so I can see them being interrupted, and maybe we'll have a tag team match between Liv and Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra at WrestleMania. I don't know for the titles, but I can see it happen. Anyways, moving on, we had AJ Styles. He goes into the ring and he's basically like, Logan Paul last week said he was gonna call me out. I got tired of waiting in the back, so I'm just gonna go ahead and call Logan Paul out. Logan Paul comes out and he basically tells, AJ Styles like, look, I'm a dad, I'm a girl dad, I'm trying to teach my daughters, better. So, I forgive you for what you did in Madison Square Garden. And because he attacked them, whatever. And AJ Styles like, yeah, I get it. I'm a girl dad too, because I forgive you too. Logan Paul's like, forgive me for what? And AJ Styles for acting like a douche. So be the biggest douchebag ever, and everything else like that. And he's like, well, is that it? I'm leaving, whatever. And he's like, he basically said some other stuff. Whatever. Basically, Logan Paul challenged AJ Styles to a match at WrestleMania because he said that he doesn't work for free. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you talking about, Logan? Like, nobody is working for free. What are you talking about? Like, what? Like, no one over there right now is working for free. You did not voluntarily just go to London to go. No, stop it. Just be quiet. Like, maybe you want a bigger check at WrestleMania, which is fine. I get it, but you're not working for free. What are you talking about? Anyways, he challenged AJ Styles, and then he walked away, and AJ Styles says, "Get back here," and everything else, and he goes back and starts to attack, and I think Logan Paul does his pulverizer, whatever his move is, and that was it. So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna see a match at WrestleMania between these two. I mean, they both need something to do with WrestleMania, so why not? I don't know what the angle is, but not everything needs an angle. Sometimes there's a match just to have a match. Just to be like, I just don't like you, and I want to beat you up. And you know what? That's fine. Not everything has to be a story, you know? Anyways, let's move on. So we had the main event match. We had, for the women's world title, Io Sky defending her title against Rhea Ripley with special guest Bianca Belair. So Bianca Belair comes out, and then Rhea comes out, and not Liv, but Io Sky comes out, and the match was okay. I prefer the last match they had a couple of weeks ago, but this one was okay. It was not bad, but I like the other one better. Ended up with basically Rhea Ripley inadvertently kind of kicked Bianca Belair and out the ring, and when she did, she put Io in the riptide, and she had her pinned for like at least a count of 20 according to the audience. And then Rhea Ripley looks at Bianca Belair and it's like, get in the ring and start counting. Like, what's wrong with you now? And stuff. He's like, you kicked me, right? Like, the fuck? And everything else, right? And she's like, just get in the ring, right? She gets over there. Like, for the most part, Bianca Belair was doing great as a ref. She was counting when she needed to count. She was doing everything else. She wasn't like, like being on one side or being like deceitful or anything else like that. So she was doing great. So then, she goes back and Rhea pins Io and she gets out on a count of 2. Rhea gets mad at Bianca Belair and they have the little tussle and all this other stuff, and then Io Sky inadvertently missile kicks Bianca Belair, and then she falls outside the ring again, and Bianca Belair, Io and Rhea are still fighting. Bianca Belair gets up and she's like, I had enough, no more, double disqualification. So they both got double disqualified, and you have Rhea. I mean, obviously Io keeps her title. Rhea Ripley is pissed off. She starts attacking Bianca Belair, and then she puts him in the riptide. She attacks Io, puts her in the riptide, and then she gets Bianca Belair again. And the crowd must really hate Bianca Belair because they've been booing her like ever since this whole European tour. And so then she gets her again and does the riptide from like the second rope, and basically just said something to them both. I don't know what she said, but there was an interview afterwards, and I guess basically she said that she's just giving them a warning that she is going to be in this match and everything, stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my god, white woman privilege, you know what I'm saying? Like, just kidding, but still, I'm like, you lost, okay? Just get over it, right? But anyways, I don't know how she's going to be added to the match, but I know she's going to be added to the match. Do I think she should win at WrestleMania? No, absolutely not. Because I don't know, like she said, she attacked both of them. Like, I don't know, like, I just don't care to see a heel Rhea. I really don't. I more prefer to see a heel Bianca than a heel Rhea. Like, we've already seen a heel Rhea a few times already. Like, who cares, right? So I don't think she should win at WrestleMania. I don't think she is gonna win at WrestleMania. I can see Io. I don't have a problem with Io keeping the title, but I really want to see a heel Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for sure. That is just me personally. But I don't know what they're gonna do. Obviously, you know, you should talk to Adam Pearce and just be like, yo, you put her as the ref. She sucked at the ref. I had her pinned like for 20 and everything else. Let me in, right? Like, I still think that if Io wants Rhea Ripley in, she should be able to have her in. She's the champion, so like, why not? I don't know what they're gonna do, but obviously they're gonna do something that is going to have. It's going to be a triple threat match. I don't know what night. I think night 1. I could see this opening. I could see this being the opening match, considering that the other triple threat match, where it's Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, are going to be ending the show on the first night. Anyways, I believe that is the last day for the European tour, and they will be at Minneapolis on Monday, which is, oh, by the way, that's Chad Gable's hometown. But I forgot to mention this. I might as well mention it now. Chad Gable won't be fighting there because apparently he's still sick. But he said that he will feel better by the time they get to Raw. But Adam Pearce is like, no, doctor's orders. I have to follow the doctor's orders. But you know who will be there? El Grande Americano. I can't wait. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye.